Hey there, fellow florists. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Planet Crafter, Episode 6, First Bloom. In terms of my stats, my pressure is lagging behind, so a pressure rocket would be, or investing in pressure, or both, would be probably pretty useful. Just my 2 cents. But also, I do have access to algae now, so there is also a pretty large benefit for adding to plant matter through algae, because then I can start using the biolab. But you're welcome to vote for whatever you want. I'll be happy to oblige. So I'm planning on filling this room with the farm. So I'm gonna move the farm now rather than waiting, because I know I'm gonna want to grow my food in the farm and not in the biolab, or not in my storage room. I'll probably also want to put a box for algae, a box for water, and a box for sulfur over in the biolab as well. And there will be other things the biolab will need too. But algae, water, and sulfur are, and also gases, methane and nitrogen. But algae, sulfur, and water are the primary resources that your biolab will require. So I'll put the boxes on the back wall. It's weird to have a box for algae with not any algae yet. Another common resource would be food or plants and plant seeds. And I might not have the iron for all that. No, I kind of don't. But all these seeds I'm going to pull up. The flowers I can leave here, because the flowers aren't really, at least not yet, are not involved in that process over there. Eventually you can use the flower seeds in the biolab, but you don't use them very often. Oh, ran out of iron. Shoot. I'm a criminal. Where's the corpse storage? No spoilers, man. Two by two looks better with all the lockers all nice. Yeah, the only disadvantage, of course, is it costs super alloy. So, super alloy is one of those resources that later on in the game you'll have ample amounts of, but really early game, it's a pretty limited resource, so spending it for aesthetics is a costly choice. I'll just call these crops, for lack of a better term. So for now I'm just going to do eggplants. Let's see. Put this stuff away. And you guys voted on launch a rocket. I gotta figure out what the next rocket I want to launch will cost. Oh, I also... Well, alright. I guess it doesn't really matter right now. But, yeah, it doesn't really matter right now. So, yeah, let's go figure out what the rocket launch will cost. So there's a new rocket, which is the GPS satellite. I don't really need that. I don't even have a map screen anyway. But the pressure rocket is 3 silicon, 2 alloy, and a rocket engine. So we'll do the rocket engine first. And for that I need more iridium. And while I'm out here I can also get the silicon. If I find it. Ah! There was uranium over here that somehow I missed. What did Sentinel Corp get on me? Nothing, man. I was framed. I was set up. So that's the silicon I needed. And at this point, the ice blocking the sulfur fields are almost certainly melted by now, so I can show you that. I'm a political prisoner. No, I just volunteered. I wanted to get away from all the people back on Earth, and was like, all right, could you just arrest me and I'll just join the Planet Crafter program? Probably looked at me sideways. Oh, so suicide by policy, huh? It's like, yeah, we'll go with that. So over yonder, this way, in the south of this cave, there is the ice that used to be here. There's always going to be a little remnant ice just to tell you, like, it essentially just tells you when it melts. But this is the sulfur fields. So you can find sulfur here. I don't have any room. And then there's another cave over there that is melted as well. I also unlocked the next tier backpack. Yep. I did. I don't find the, like, once you hit this tier backpack, it does most of what you need. I'm not saying that tier 5 is worthless, just... once it's large enough that you're probably going to run out of oxygen before you fill it with what you're looking for. So iridium rod, rocket. So I needed 2 alloy, a rocket, and 3 silicon, I think. And this rocket attracts iridium asteroids. So now my pressure is much higher. And you know what? I want to launch another one. Another pressure rocket. Why stop at 1? Got the resources for 2. So I went from, just as a point of reference, I went from 86.8 to 868. And now from 868 to 1736. So I jumped a whole order of times 10 on the first rocket. And then for each subsequent rocket, you know, you're going to get essentially diminishing returns, I guess. That's the way to phrase it. Okay, you guys vote for next. And maybe I'll take a look at the backpack. Super alloy and titanium. Probably afford that. Barely, but afford it. There you go. Max backpack size. Got it. Let's see if I can't find an iridium meteorite core to demonstrate what they look like. Yeah, I think this is going to be one, maybe. Yep, so here it is. It's not mineable. I can't click on it, but it will eventually decay to resources, given time. And look at that. There was an old... I'll just take all this. Uranium one over here that I failed to notice. Is the lake useful? Yeah. I could start algaeing if it was voted upon. I think it's probably deep enough by now. Ooh, glowy. Yeah, they're hard to miss, right? Feel like if, an artist was told what the demon core looked like, it would look like these things. This is an artist's rendition of what the demon core looked like. Oh, there, it decayed. Maybe it would be that, but green. People associate green with uranium. So the useful thing about alphabetizing is, like, you don't have to really think about it. When you're dumping stuff, it's almost always the next chest once you have a lot of stuff, right? In that case, it was just like, I lined up and just went down the line. We are going to grow some algae. So in order to get that requires bioplastics, eggplant, water bottle, magnesium, and superalloy. One can probably assume the fact that it requires bioplastics means that I should start farming mushrooms, which would be true, but I do happen to have a bioplastic nugget on me already, so I can skip it for the first one. So all I need to do is to pick up an eggplant. But in doing this, I'll also add some mushroom growers. Now, the lake will eventually, if I calculate this right, be basically here. I basically built this upon the shoreline, more or less. It just takes a very long time to fill. So for this first algae grower, you know, I'll just put it wherever I'm able to. I hope the water's deep enough to actually grow the algae. It might not be in this spot, but regardless, this thing is growing plants. I'll try to put it in a slightly deeper area, though. The water gets a little deeper over by the starter pot, I think. This area is the deepest, albeit the least convenient section of the lake to reach, but it's just over my head. It's really, it doesn't get much deeper than that. All right, so we'll try to put it here. The algae generator is almost, well, not almost, but it's like half an order of magnitude more efficient than the grass spreader, and it doesn't rely upon a limited resource of lermaseed. You can make as many of these as you want, depending on how much water surface you have. But let's go ahead and add some additional plant growers, because I am not going to be able to expand the algae farm without additional eggplant and mushroom. While I'm on air, just grab the things I'm low on. Haven't really been mining. I do have access to the ore extractor. The ore extractor is the tier 1 is relatively inefficient. So the way it works is you set the ore extractors, because I don't know if in the remaining amount of time that I have in the stream I'm going to be able to build one, but you set it up where there is a specific resource. So, for instance, if I set one up in the iridium caves, I'm going to get iridium. If I set them up in the aluminum hills, I'm going to get aluminum. If I set them up, the tier 1 won't be able to mine things like osmium, but like the tier 2 would if I set it up in the osmium cave. But they will also gain a certain percentage of not the correct material. So if I set one up in the iridium mines, I would get a lot of not iridium out of it as a result, by design. And the higher tier up you go, the higher percentage you get of what you're looking for. I see how far you are. The lake isn't filled yet. Are you saving exploring for later, or is it just voted on? Just when it's voted on. I wonder if I have enough power for this. These power growers are rather... Oh yeah, apparently I do. So you can see the advantage of planning early and starting to collect things like mushrooms and eggplants, so that when you need them, you gain access to them. Because now, at the point that I'm at, having to wait for them to be harvestable, you know, does impose a bit of a lag time. Whereas if your bottleneck is like mining or something, at least you can go somewhere to get it done. But since it's eggplants, I'm not going to find any ripe eggplants anywhere on this planet outside of my own farms. They don't exist. But I will check in on the algae. Might not have been enough time. It takes it. It kind of looks like it's growing. A little bit. Maybe it's not deep enough. What ends up happening is below some of these pond fronds or whatever, you'll have algae that is collectible. Oh, right here. It's not ready yet, but But yeah, once that grows a little bit more, I'll be able to collect algae from it. Another thing you might notice is there is pretty much no surface ice anymore. We have hit the heat threshold that ice sitting around on the surface doesn't exist anymore. I could get ice in caves in a pinch, but the game sort of intends for you to start to collect it atmospherically at this point. What did you guys vote for? The poll software that I was running, like, broke, and the results disappeared on me. You know, like it does. Blackout! I'm fixing my power in a second. I think I put my sulfur here, yeah. Ooh, we're getting a storm, too. Plants? More plants? Alright. So here is explosive powder. It's 2 sulfur and an iridium. Explosive powder is a necessary ingredient for the next tier reactor. The tier 2 nuclear reactors, which are far more efficient. 331 kilowatt versus 86. They're far more efficient to build the big ones. So I think I need, and then also I get a lot of superalloy back as a result of building the big one. So I now have a big one and a small. Once I have more, uranium rods, I can build 2 big ones. So if you guys want me to add plants, let me think about the best route to do that. I don't have bioplastic nuggets. I could start to find bioplastic nuggets in crates as a stopgap measure, but the correct process would be for the wait for the mushrooms that I planted to grow and then harvest them. I might have some larma seeds to put grass spread. Yeah, I do have 2 larma seeds, so I'll put some more grass spreaders down. Also, it just adds a nice, some nice shrubbery that I otherwise wouldn't have. If you do enough exploration, you'll find way more seeds than you have room to grow them. As well. I figured that's probably worth pointing out. If I was to put a number, I would say you probably want something like... You can get by with like roughly 8 or 10 or so eggplant, and maybe only like 5 of the mushroom and the squash. If you go beyond that, it's because you've designed very efficiently and require more meta. Hey, random British dude. Returning the love. Well, I appreciate it. What were you playing today? Under the Waves? Oh, how is that? That came out, what, today or yesterday? And welcome, everybody, to the stream. Unfortunately, there's only 15 minutes left, but I appreciate the raid nonetheless. Right now, I am... Well, maybe I should update the priority. Build grass spreaders. If you don't know what Planet Crafter is, it is a game where you terraform a planet by yourself as a convict. It's quite fun, pretty addictive, and I started the stream just shy of 4 hours ago, and we've gotten, I don't know, some decent progress. with my little base. I'll give you a base tour. So this is my crafting room with all of my resources, all my building materials stored in boxes. Then I have over here where I'm producing the heat in the planet. You'd think this room would be piping hot with all those heat generators, but somehow they're not. And where I'm producing some of my oxygen. A lot of the oxygen is actually produced in these flower tubes and grass spreaders, and I'm actually adding grass spreaders right now. So let's... oh, I'm missing water. And then we have a little biodome on top. Mining drills to produce pressure. My nuclear power, and my biolab. Rocket launch platform, and then way over yonder is my algae farm. And let's see if the algae is harvestable for the first time. Yeah, this playthrough is less than 4 hours long. I haven't gotten very far, and I haven't actually been speedrunning either. Oh, it is harvestable. Nice. I was wondering if it was deep enough, and apparently it is. Sweet. So I'm trying to think of something to do with the last 10 minutes. Maybe I'll go to other exploration points. That could be interesting to do. But here's the algae that you would harvest. And you're going to want something like, I don't know, 5 algae farms or so. Maybe a little bit more if you do a lot of fertilization. But they're an ingredient that you use for bacterial samples and fertilizer. Bacteria samples is a reagent for mutagens. What this is primarily used for, later on in the game, spoiler alert, is to work on plant and insect life. For insect life, you're going to need mutagens where... and I'm not going to get into that, but that's more or less what that's for. But the fertilizer, however, is going to be useful for growing your plant biomass. It's going to be needed for like tree spreaders and things like that. So that's where that comes in. So I'll show you some of the tech that comes down a little bit down the line. In terms of terraformation, what would be soon arriving would be lake water collector. That's in 50 MTI, where you can collect water from the lakes, and then a screen to show you biomass and orbital information for all your rocketry and the like. Heater is, I'm a little ways off. Tier 4 heat, I would need a lot more oxygen. But then the tree spreading rocket helps out a lot for growing trees, but that's at 6 parts per million of oxygen. For heat, you get biodome tier 2, and the biodome tier 2 generates tree bark, which you use as a reagent to grow trees and for tree spreading. Flower spreaders come at 2.5 MPa, micropascals. That's a really powerful one that to unlock, because you can put specific flowers in there. So if you have high yield flower, like the golden seeds that I have, you get a lot of bang for your buck out of that. So if I was to play without polling, I would probably push to flower spreaders. That's going to be the most significant upgrade. Plus, pushing pressure really fast gives you the ore extractor tier 2, which is, by my counts, one of the nicest things to have in the game. Once you can extract pretty much every ore that you need, you don't have to mine anymore, which is kind of nice. And then some of the other biomass stuff yet to unlock, which would be in the near future. The better algae generators is kind of whatever, but the plant rockets help you out a lot. I find that trying to get biomass, the game allows you to get oxygen, heat, and pressure going pretty quickly. It accelerates sort of exponentially, really, really fast. Whereas biomass takes a while. You sort of churn away at it for a long, long, long time. So it takes a very long while to unlock insects from plants. My first insect would be like beehives at like 80 tons, and I'm at 4 kilograms. You can see how far away that is, given my biomass per second that I'm getting. But I'm going to try to go ahead and show you the pressure before I end the stream, the flower spreader. So, make a flower spreader is my goal. So in order to obtain that goal, I just need better drilling. I need more pressure. Have I got my hidden tree seed yet already? No, I have not. I've purposely tried not to show too many, like, massive spoilers or Easter eggs. So that if you've watched the stream, there's still a lot to be discovered. And I do that intentionally. So I show you a taste of the game. And if you want more, I haven't ruined the ending for you. So what is my pressure numbers at? Oh, yeah, I'm getting this unlocked in literally seconds. 3, 2, 1, ding. Alright, flower spreader. Where be you? So 3 water, fertilizer, magnesium, and super alloy. Did I have not yet made fertilizer, so I'll have to do that. And I only have 2 of the 3 water I need, so if I'll come back to the atmospheric water collector, and if it doesn't have water in it, I'll have to go into a cave and find some ice or something. The other thing that you can always do is to just, like, break down something that needed water to be built. So if I break down, like, a food grower, I would get water back. It's a weird way to do it. I wouldn't normally do it that way, but if you're, you know, impatient, that's always an option. So fertilizer. This is the first use for fertilizer. So I need 3 algae, sulfur, and eggplants. And I'm not storing my sulfur in my sulfur spot. I should be, but I'm not. So I'll get the algae. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to move the sulfur from my original storage spot over to the biolab, because the biolab's going to use 90% of the sulfur anyway. Sulfur's almost not really used outside of the biolab. Because it's all for, like, fertilizer and explosive powder and that kind of stuff. Alright. Am I lucky enough to get the water? Is this an event? I think it's just nighttime. Nope. We could try a cave. See if the iridium cave has some water left. Or ice, I should say. Does it make sense to move the water collector? Yeah, probably. I generally don't go out that door, so it's always inconvenient. Oh yeah, there's ISIS here. Don't I have a full box of water in my base? I might. But it's now moot. Because I've got ice, baby. I think I used all the water. Oh, no, I did. You were right. Flower spreader. Let's put it right in the front porch. And I killed my power. How low am I? Oh, barely at all. I'll just supplement with a little bit of solar. Or... the other thing is you could just phase out rather obsolete tech. Obviously, that didn't do enough. So I'll do the solar after all. I'm not going to have it be neat and tidy. I'm just going to slap it down. So let's go get a super seed, one of the golden ones. Point of reference, this is 78 parts per quadrillion. And the flower spreader is 966 parts per quadrillion. So more than 10 order, a full order of magnitude, or times 10 for oxygen. So as you can imagine, getting a lot of flower spreaders like this through making fertilizer and collecting water is hugely beneficial to generating oxygen on your planet. And also, it is the most plants that I'm getting. This is 9.2 grams per second of plants, and my total biomass is 14. So it makes up 9/11ths rather of my plant biomass. So massive, massive benefit. And what's also really nice is it grows the type of seed that you put in there. It grows that in a radius around it. So everywhere around this little flower spreader, I've got the golden seed flowers. And there's a finite amount of golden seeds in the game. There's a finite amount of all those seeds in the game, but there you have it. Normally in this situation, I would show you like my other bases in the game, but I don't really feel like spoiling that much because I do find that Planet Crafter is a very solid game, and showing you sort of the end game stuff could ruin it for you, ruin your own sense of discovery. So this is where I'm going to leave off instead. Thank you for tuning in to Planet Crafter, which originally streamed live on Twitch August 29th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, please let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, a link can be found in the description of this video or on my website. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream of something else. Farewell.